how to have your 850 FICO score, what everybody wants. Everybody is always looking to have over an 800 FICO score on their credit, but they are uneducated and not knowing or knowledgeable. How can I get an 800 plus score? I used to ask myself that too. The way to get your 800 plus 50 score or 800 FICO score, first and most of all, the highest score I've ever seen has been 862. Anything above 700 FICO score is an excellent score. But I know you want to have that 800 plus score. To have that 800 plus score, it takes different factors involved containing inside your credit report of what credit agencies are reporting. In a more simple terms, simple facts, I'll explain to you exactly how to get that 800 plus score. Number one, you want to make sure your utilization on your credit cards is below 30%. So those of you that don't know what is your utilization, what I mean by this is if you have a credit line of a credit card for $1,000, you do not want to owe more than $300 on it because it's affecting your score. So you want to be below $300 on a $1,000 limit on your credit card so you keep that utilization below 30%. That's where the 30% utilization comes through. So keep that 30% below, your credit cards, your debt, keep it lower than 30%. Keep in mind that your statement dates is very important on keeping this utilization down. Because you may pay them down below 30%, but it's still reporting that you're high, and I'm going to tell you why. If you have a statement date, meaning the day that your bill is due on the 20th of every month. So what happens is, prior to the 20th, anytime before the 20th, whatever you paid down, keep in mind that particular creditor or bank is going to report on the 20th what's your balance to the bureaus, to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So you want to make sure that you pay whatever you're going to pay down below 30% before the 20th of that month. That's an example if that was your statement date. The other factor to get your 800 plus score is your payment history. That is so important, your payment history. I'm going to tell you why that's so important. Your utilization is important too, which we just got done speaking about. But you can turn around and change at any given point. When you're late, you got to wait for 2 consecutive years of excellent payment before even a lender will give you that great interest rate or before that score even goes up. So you want to make sure that you have auto pay on your accounts to keep that payment history on time. You want to make sure that you have no lates. Always make sure that if you change bank accounts, to notify your bank or creditor, hey, this is my new account number. I want you to pull the automatic payments from here. And if you don't have an account for whatever the reason case may be, just call in a payment, or some of these bank or creditors do take Western Union or MoneyGram to be able to make a payment on them. So that's important. So so far we went over 2 things. We're working on how to get that 800 FICO score. Utilization is 1. Payment history needs to be excellent for 2 years consecutive. No late payments. If you come across one of these things that's not working, such as your payment history, you can definitely contact One Financial Business, and we can definitely work on taking that off to make that right. So you don't have to wait the 2 years by disputing the item. The other thing is the age of your account is a third thing. You got about 15% of the cost to get that 850 FICO score. You got the 30% utilization, you have the 35% payment history, you got another 15% age of the account. What happens is, when the account is fairly new, if you have a credit card, of ABC credit card, not to name the particular card, but the card is only 6 months you've had it, don't expect that you're going to have an 800 FICO score with one account on your credit, and it's less than 6 months. You want to have over 2 years of payment history, and that particular card is what's going to draw your scores up. So at times you're looking at, so you're building your credit, you're utilization is low, your payment history is great, the age of account is aging now, but you're gonna notice your score starts going up every month, a little bit. Its points just keep going up. Why? Being educated, you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, and it's doing what it's supposed to do by keeping your percentage down, keeping your payment history where it needs to be, aging the account, so it's definitely going to bring you up to 850 score. The other thing is the total amount of accounts. You don't have to have 30 different accounts in there, such as you don't have to have 10 credit cards, 10 autos, not that you will get 10 autos, but just saying, 3 or 4 more, it's very simple. The typical bank looks for 5 mixture of accounts. What are the 5 accounts? They look for a couple revolving. When I say revolving is like a credit card. A credit card that a retail store or department store or a major credit card have given you that line of credit on a card. So you want to have maybe 2 revolving, maybe 3. You want to have an installment. Installment is like a personal loan. It could be a loan for $2,000-$3,000. It could be a loan for $1,000. It needs to show that it's an installment loan. The other thing that helps you as a mixture of accounts is obviously an auto. Having an auto in your account works great. So 10% of the total accounts that you have has a factor to do with getting that 850 score. So I don't want you to feel that, hey, with one account will do it. Now keep in mind, there's a way we could solve this. If you say to me, well, you know what, Carlos, I only have 2 accounts there. How can I get 3 more to make that 5? Well, manual way to do it is you go and apply, get approved, you do your 2-year age history, and then you made it to where you need to make it. Or we could definitely add an authorized trade line. It's piggy banking to somebody else's credit. What that does, it adds that history onto your credit to get your FICO score where you need. How long does that take? 30 days or less to add history. So that's another way to age your accounts and have a mixture. So it doesn't have to be that you need to have 5 of your personal accounts, but we can add more accounts to there, some authorized users, to just kind of mix it and help you out. It only takes 30 days, which is a good thing. The other thing is that will give you the 850 score is not having any inquiries in the last 2 years. There's a difference between inquiries, and this is important, and I want you to pay close attention to this. For some reason, these creditors have a software, and these software detects certain things on your credit when you go and apply. Having 5 or 6 inquiries from an auto dealership is bad. It's not good, but it doesn't prevent you from getting a loan. Having 5 inquiries from different banks that you apply for loans does hurt you, and it is a big impact on your credit on getting that loan. Creditors tend to think, hey, this person is desperate, they got all these inquiries in there, and they're definitely shopping around. Well, you don't want to have any inquiries, because what happens with inquiries, it takes 2 consecutive years before the inquiry fell off. So if we're December 1st, 2018, December 1st of 2020, before that inquiry falls off, most cases it doesn't fall off after 2 years, but company policy with these bureaus is that after 2 years they do fall off. So you want to stay away from that. If you're going to apply for something, make sure this is something you're looking to get, and make sure that you're going to get approved for it by either talking to the finance person or having a consultation with that person, that bank, whether it's a personal, whether it's an auto, whether it's a mortgage. Don't let just anybody pull your credit just to pull it, to see what it looks like. Because that, in fact, is hurting you, and this is why you're not getting that high FICO score high. So, recap. 30% of your utilization, you want to keep that below 30%. Preferably keep it at 0%. Payment history, you want to keep that 35%, meaning that's 35% is part of, to get that 850 score, or 800 FICO score, you want to keep your payment history excellent. You do not want to miss any late payments. It will affect. The other 15% of this pie is your age of account, which we discussed. You want to have a mixture. You want to have an age of a minimum of 2 years of history with that particular creditor, which is going to add to you to get that 800 plus score. The other thing is a total mixture of accounts, which we talked about. That's 10% of the reason you get that 800 FICO score. You want to make sure that you have a mixture of at least 5 different accounts, from a revolving, auto, installment, probably 2 revolvings or 3 revolving, an auto and an installment will do it. And last of all, you want to make sure, which is another 10% of the pie, is your inquiries. You do not want to have any inquiries in the last 2 years that are recent, because it does hurt your credit. With that set in mind, this is what it takes to have an 800 plus score. We're here to help you at One Financial Business. Pick up the phone, give us a call for a free consultation. You can either come to our office or we can do this completely free, no obligation, over the phone. Again, I want to thank you. My name is Carlos Felix, CEO, President of One Financial Business.